Ayo, shalom. All praises to the Most High. Yehovah, Yehoshua. This is Sound Some YYBY. All right, I already know what I'm about to talk about. So let's get straight to the point. The first thing I want to say is this. If you only a producer, Reason is perfect for you. Listen to what I'm saying. Keywords. If you only a producer, Reason is perfect for you. A lot of the drawbacks become a problem when you're like me, when you're an artist, producer, you record a lot of artists, you mix and master, and you do sound design. Reason can get the job done far as, making a beat, record, mix and master. But what people got to understand is that every DAW has pros and cons. Like I always say, every DAW has pros and cons. But end of the day, it's about what's very important to you when it comes to features, bro. Period. When it comes to features, man, we got some that we can kind of go without. And then there's some features you like, nah, fuck that. Nah, I gotta have that. You like, nah, I'm good. I can't, it's some things you just gotta have, and we know that. Let's keep it funky right quick, real rap. So I'm about to go through, the reasons why you shouldn't buy Reason, why you shouldn't buy it. But again, the first thing I want y'all to keep in mind, if you only a producer, this is not for you. Reason is perfect for you if you only a producer, right? But some of these features might matter to you too. So let's find out. All right, so now, number one, frequent updates with features. If you're a person who random updates, man, when you do get updates, you get decent features and shit like that, Reason is not the DAW for you, bro. They behind on features, man. Modern features that's very important to people. They've been years behind. And then they do give you updates on, to keep the DAW stable and give you, stability updates. And they do fix that. They'll zoom in and fix the shit that, that they having problems with on their DAW that you already have in there. So that's great. That's perfect when they do that. That's very important first. But when it comes to features, bro, during the updates, I've been back with Reason since version 10. And every update they gave, man, I could probably only say 1 or 2 times they probably gave a feature that I was like, okay, word, that's what's up. Needed that. But most of the time it ain't none of that shit, bro. And it's like, if you use the DAWs like Studio One that I have and other DAWs that they give you decent features when they give updates, then Reason is not for you. Facts. Number 2, like I was saying earlier, if you're all arounder, if you're a producer, if you're an artist, if you record yourself or you record a lot of artists, if you do sessions, you deal with a lot of different type of artists like me. You mix and master, you do sound design. Reason is not for you. It's not for you. It's not for you. And again, like I was telling y'all earlier, you can record, mix and master in it. You can get that job done. But some of these features that I'm about to bring up is gonna tell you if you want to buy it or not. You see what I'm saying? Like because it might be one of these features that when it comes to mixing and mastering that you need that Reason don't have. And that's the part right there, because every DAW you can record in, every DAW you can make beats in, but it's just all about what they zoom in the most important thing first. So if you're all arounder, you need an all arounder DAW. You need an all arounder DAW like Studio One, Cubase, Nuendo, maybe Pro Tools, because Pro Tools focus on mixing and mastering and recording. Logic, they say Lunar now. Ableton Live, somewhat. They zoom in more on production more. It's kind of like, FL Studio, and like, again, like I told you, they all can record, mix and master, but when it come to certain features and going in detail and workflow and shit like that, you're gonna need one of those all-arounder dolls. Trust me, like Magic Sampler 2, Sonar, Cakewalk Sonar, what else? What else is out there? What's another doll? I forgot what the other doll name, but anyway, but you need all arounder. That's my point. You need all arounder and everything. All right, number 3. If you love freeze tracks, freeze your MIDI tracks or freeze whatever track, Reason don't have that. You can't freeze no tracks, bro. You can bounce them, but you can't freeze them. And that's important to certain people. Freezing your tracks, freezing your instrument tracks, freeze it, come back, bring it back and do certain type of stuff, and then freeze it again based on what computer you have. Everybody don't got powerful computers, but even if you got a powerful computer, you still can have issues with a powerful computer. So freezing tracks is very important to some people. I'm telling you, I know. Number 4, Doby Atmos. Doby Atmos is something been around for a long time, been around for a while, long enough. Is normally popular in movies, but a lot of people mixing songs with Doby Atmos. And I'm gonna be real with you. When it comes to the pan situations in Doby Atmos, I fuck with it. Now you can pan your vocals. You can make your vocals stand out, sit a certain way more. You can make your instrument sit in certain places before that you couldn't before. And I always have visions of mixing that way, because a lot of the times you have to buy, third-party plugins like Panorama, that's made by Wave Arts or some shit like that, or certain plugins with waves that do this special type of panning. Some DAWs, average DAWs got panning and then pan law, where you can kind of wide it and certain stuff like that, but it's levels to it. When you want that thing to sit at the top, way in the corner back, stuff like that. That's what Doby Atmos is good for. So if you want a Doby Atmos, which I think would be important in the future, certain websites got Doby Atmos music on there, some platforms are trying to force people to only accept Doby Atmos mixing. So if you need Doby Atmos, you want it based on if you want to do movies and stuff like that or videos, then Reason is not for you. You might as well skip past that. Number 5, easy workflow, man, multitasking. Now hold up, listen, y'all. Yes, the workflow that Reason already has is dope. It got a decent workflow, even though it's certain things that's still annoying, because you got 3 screens, three screens. We got to deal with a rack, stuff like that. So you can create a decent workflow inside of the DAW you can get used to, and use a lot of the things on your keypads and on your keyboard to switch back and forth and stuff like that. But every DAW that I ever had, it ain't no DAW fucking with Studio One workflow. On levels, and you don't know that until you use it. You don't know that till you use it. You don't understand what certain DAWs can do until you use it. I'm telling you. You might be like, yo, my DAW is the best doing this, but until you mess with something else, you're like, oh shit, wow. This workflow is crazy. Like simplicity in so many ways and so many forms, and I can drop a whole bunch of plugins on all these tracks at one time. I can select all these tracks and I could change the level, change the volume, turn the volume. Not the volume, but turn the pan, select the buttons at the same time. Anything on that track is already simultaneously going to work. You can simultaneously drop plugins on each piece that you select on a sequencer. Multitasking on a whole nother level that makes the workflow remarkable and get shit done without you stressing, without you, when you're dealing with a huge project. And this goes back to people who record, artists, produce for themselves, and they're in the studio with other people like me. That's what I'm saying. So when it come to easy workflow, Studio One would take information, concepts, and ideas from other DAWs, which they got concepts from Reason before too, and you know, and from Cubase and whoever else, and they just make it so damn simplified. Just facts. That's dope. They say, oh, y'all doing it difficult like that? We gonna make this shit easy right here. Like, let's make this real easy, right? We gonna make this easy. It's gonna blow your mind. That's the key thing. So when it, like I told you, every DAW have pros and cons, but when it come to workflow, ain't none of these DAWs fucking with Studio One. I'm sorry. Yeah, they might got a little more extra features than it, but that workflow, that simplicity, I'm telling y'all, trust me on this, bro. So number 6 is typing in decimals. If you like to go in your DAW and you know you changing the volume and you panning and stuff like that, and whatever you got, and the little option pop up with it showing the numbers and stuff like that, whatever you tweaking and turning or selecting, or even on your instruments. And reason you can't type no decimals in to be precise with what you changing. You know, when you turn in certain knobs, you can hold shift and turn it in increments, but the increments still skip a lot. You know, in Studio One and some other DAWs, the increments go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can have a perfect mix, but you might just want to move it in increments, which is very important to people. And that shit is serious. That's what I'm saying, the workflow. So in Reason, you cannot type in decimals in nothing at all. Zero, zip, nada. I don't understand why. It's been it's a simple task. I forget it. I don't know why. It just irks me with that part. Let's keep going. Number 7, mouse wheel options means that you got the wheel on your mouse, which is right here. You got that mouse right, this wheel. And then, you know, you can go to the mixer level and move that mouse. It'll go up and down. You can go to the pan. It'll go left and right. Whatever you move that mouse on, you hoover that mouse over and you go up and down on that wheel, it'll move. Reason does not have that option. Does not, never did. I don't understand why I don't have that shit either. But it does not have it. Simple, small things like that got something to do with the workflow. And that makes things work and feel different with you when you're working. You will want to work when you're doing serious projects. I'm telling you. Let's keep going. Number 8 is strip silence. If you're a person when you're dealing with big projects, audio big projects, and you want to cut all the empty spaces between your audio files and stuff like that and set it perfectly and cut the stuff out instead of going each track one by one and cutting everything, each track one by one, cutting everything, even though it's still best to do it manually. And sometimes you still got to go back and touch everything up. But that strip silence will help clean up a lot of stuff quick, especially when you got like 30, 40, 50 tracks of audio that need to be cleaned up. So if you're looking for that option, Reason don't have it. Let's keep going. Number 9, detect chords. Reason do have instruments, players that call scales and chords and other joint called chord sequencer, which is pretty dope and everything. But detect chords that you witness inside of Studio One and DAWs like Cubase is that it keep the whole sequencer in tune of the notes. You get what I'm saying? Like it keep the whole sequence in tune. So once you drop that whatever instrument and it tell you the note of that instrument, then you put it down in the key at the bottom and it say, hey, DAW, listen, this is the note of this music. And anything you drop in from MIDI to audio, you can never go without, playing shit wrong. Or go out of tune or anything like that. But you can do that in Reason. You still cannot go out of tune inside of Reason because you got scales and chords and you got chord sequencer. You just got to add it on every instrument. But you can't put it on audio. You can't put it on audio. That's the problem. Like you can't put it on audio, so you can't get your audio to play in note in tune to a certain level of those chords. Now you can change the note of that chord of that audio, but you can't change each individual note of that note audio. And if you open up pitch correction and start changing things, it's gonna start sounding weird as hell. Because Reason only good at distracting or changing audio to MIDI with monophonic sounds. That means I think monophonic sound. That means just regular vocals. Like you singing vocals and you want to build around the vocals, you can convert that to audio, to MIDI. I mean, but when it comes to chords, when it comes to all the other styles of music, it does not fuck with that. But Studio One and DAWs like the Cubase, they can distract all that and tell you the notes of it and everything, and actually drop the chords down and give you the whole chords of that sound and instrument, whatever it is. So that right there is a whole nother level that y'all got to understand. That's serious. That's why I say detect chords. Number 10, video for sound design. Reason don't have it. Don't have no video. They do got an app that you can use inside the DAW that somebody else made if you're using the VST stuff, but it's a lot of limitations to that. If you're a person who want to put sounds and stuff around videos, and you want to do synchro type music, and you want to do sound design around videos and movies and video games, shit like that, Reason don't do that. Studio One can do it. But it's even limitations with Studio One, because when you really want to go in depth with that part for a sound design and video game shit, that's Nuendo, made by Steinberg. Nuendo is on fleet mode with that. It's called post-production. It's post-production. Let's keep going. Number 11, hide tracks. Reason do not hide tracks at all. You can't hide tracks and nothing like that. So if that's important to you, that's serious. Number 12, VCA channel. Reason don't have no VCA channel. VCA channel, when you get all the tracks and you select it to a VCA track, and you can turn the volume of that VCA track, and it'll turn all the volumes up and down of the audio track. That come in handy when you're dealing with a lot of tracks. Trust me. 13, lock tracks. Lock tracks on sequencer. Anything that you have on the sequencer, you can accidentally shift things around, move it around, and you understand what happened. I done did that before. I'm pretty good not doing it. But a lot of people are moving sloppy. They don't move that well like that. And they mess around, move some shit out the way, cut something. It can happen, and it'll frustrate you. And you shift something out the way, or especially something off beat, and you don't know what you did, and you had it perfect. If you lock it, it does not move. So Reason does not have that. Let's keep going. 14, fade options. Reason only have a fade option like this. That's it. It don't have no curve fade option. None of the other styles when it comes to fading audio. Now, when it comes to automation, they give you the option of fading. But when it comes to just cutting that piece and then you fading that, they only give you the straight fade from just like that. And sometimes you need fade loop, certain the style of A, B, C, and D. And then on top of that, when you do fade it in Reason, right, and you fade it perfectly, but sometimes you got so many cuts of that audio that you faded, it looks sloppy. So sometimes you want to grab all that audio stuff and bounce it. But you want the phase to still be in there. Reason does not do that. Studio One and other DAWs does that. Period. So, when you try to do it inside Reason, as soon as you try to bounce it, it's going to pop up an option and say, hey, well, this is what's going to happen, A, B, C, and D. And you're going to realize that information will not stay in there if you bounce it. Let's keep going. 15, play at song tempo, meaning that everything, whatever your tempo is in your music, this is a feature that Reason should have on, like, without question, because they so ill with making beats. But everything in your browser, any audio files or whatever it is in your browser, you select the option, and whatever your tempo is in your music and you playing, the stuff in your browser would play at that tempo of that music. So as you're going through the browser, through the sounds and the samples, you can hear how something might play with your music without even dropping it in, before you even drop it in to use it, or, A, B, C, and D. The only thing that, Studio One is missing on that is that, that Cubase in the window has, is that you can go through all the instrument presets and actually play them from the keyboard and listen to them from the keyboard without even dropping it in. It's kind of like a preview or something. That's dope. Let's keep going. Number 16, mixer scenes. You know what that is? When you're mixing and you do a different mix, you save that one, do a second mix, save that one, do a third mix, save that one, and you can go back at each one of them inside of that same DAW, you know, inside of Reason. What you have to do in Reason is that if you got 30 tracks and you mix those, you got to copy another 30 tracks and mix that different, and copy another 30 tracks and mix that different. Or you can mix this song one way in Reason, save another file of that, and they're called part 2, and mix that different, and save another file of part 3 and mix that different. Now you got 3 different files. That's the only way you can do it. There's no mixer scenes, the boom, 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 and then press a button and go and see the comparison of the different mixes, because a person might say, hey, well, you know what? I like that mix. I want to keep that, but can you change this and bring the volume up on this and boom, 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 all that type of stuff, boom, boom. And you're like, okay, well, okay, I'm going to change that stuff, but you want to save that other scene because people are very indecisive with shit. When people are very indecisive and can you change this? No, yeah, I want to keep the original one. You can just press the button, boom, go right back to the original mix. So you got a different options to show a comparison. So, but like say, Reason said back in the day that they wasn't trying to be a professional DAW. I actually just read that on their platform yesterday. I was like, wow. I said, I never knew that. I never knew that part right there. You know, I read that they said it on, was it a video or I was on their webpage? I was on their webpage in a certain option somewhere reading some stuff. They said their intention was never to be a professional DAW, industry DAW, something like that. They just focus on fun and which is cool, which is great. But at the same time, it's like people want to make money from these stuff too, from fun. All right, let's keep going. Number 17, auto punch. You can't punch in. You got to create a second track. You know, everything you got to do, you got to create a next track. You know, you got to create an extra track to come in and save in. And really, that's really better, to be honest with you. Sometimes punching in can be a headache, you know, if you punch in the wrong way, but punching in is perfect when you want to get certain pieces, certain little bar pieces and everything instead of creating another track. You know, just fix certain words and everything, which is dope. But sometimes creating that second track is even better because now you got time to come in and it can come in more smoother, you know, stuff like that. So there's pros and cons of that. But auto punch is very important for those who also recording themselves, or guitarists is recording themselves. You see what I'm saying? Like it's different when I'm recording an artist, you know, auto punch, I really don't gotta have it, you know, even though sometimes it come in handy with my workflow because I could just add another track like I said and record under it and they can come in more smoother. But when it comes to a little small little piece, nobody want to do all that shit. But when it comes to you recording yourself, recording your own instruments, whatever it is, you're going to have a problem with that in Reason. Number 18, folder tracks. There's no folder tracks inside Reason. You forget that. There ain't no on the SSL, putting stuff in folders and blah, blah, blah. People been asking for that for years, but I think they like, well, this is an analog style. You can't fold no damn analog board and stuff like that. Maybe that's their thought process, but folder tracks, you will not have it. 19, hide automations. You cannot hide automations inside Reason. Other DAWs where the automations go into the track, you know. And now in Reason you can minimize them very small. You can press the arrow and to make it very small, so it could be like 10 of them very in small tiny lines that's sitting under that track, and then a couple more sitting under that track. And I mean, if you're doing a lot of automation, you're an automation guy, you would not like Reason probably with all that automation stuff, you know, even though the automation concept is dope in Reason because it sits in the automation sits inside of a clip. Every DAW should do that shit because it's easy to mess up your automation. It sits inside of a clip, so you can get that clip and copy it down easy compared to automation in other DAWs where it's just the lines and all that. It's in the clip. You double click on the clip, open it up, and you can look inside. You can tweak all the things and close it back up. You got a square. You can copy that square down and drag it without no problems. So that's a remarkable idea that Reason made. But the automation can get hectic on a sequence of looking at those things. So it's all about what's important to you. Number 20, track presets. There's no track presets. You can't create anything on the track and save it as a preset. The only thing you can do is create a template and save your template. Set your track up a certain way, you know, audio track, and then save it as a template. So when you go inside the audio track Every time as you record, just make another copy of the track. And then, you got a preset, your preset go with you. That's the only option you got. But saving something and come back later and bring it into another DAW and stuff like that, nah, it ain't happening, Captain. And the last thing, number 21, is less windows. If you're a person who don't want to deal with a lot of windows, open up this, open up that, open up this, just to edit and all that type of stuff. Like in Studio One, it's only one window. Technically, like you still got the browser, you still got the inspector, but you got the whole sequencer, and then you got the mixer window that goes up and down. And reason you got 3 windows you got to deal with. You got to deal with the rack, the sequencer, and the mixer. And then it's on top of that, it's like it's really better to have more than one screen, but everybody don't want to have more than one screen. So you do with one screen, you might have a hard time having a nice little visual of your rack. Because technically, you want a screen go vertical when you're dealing with the rack. You still can find ways with the workflow, but it get very annoying eventually using one screen, dealing with the rack. And like I said, if you use a second screen, you still want the rack to be vertical. And then the con with that is when you get vertical screens and you turn your screen vertical, the resolution and the quality go out. It goes away. It devalues inside of the screen. So if you got a 4K joint, it's going to devalue. It's going to go down for some reason because they design where when you turn it vertical, it changes the quality of it. I don't know if any new screens like that, but I don't dealt with it a lot of times where I went back and forth from vertical screens. And I'm like, fuck it, because it's always options and issues with it more than anything. The screen blinks out all the time and go in and out, all type of weird, crazy stuff and all that. So I said, I'm done. I don't want to deal with it no more, but it's good to have multiple screens. That's a fact. But yeah, man, if you got any questions, man, this is to help people. Take it how you want to take it, man. And it's the truth. It's the facts. If you got any questions, if you want to jot anything down at the bottom, drop it. This is YYBY. Peace.